What's going on, everybody? Dave here at the Reef Aquarium shop in Indianapolis, Indiana. It is now Monday. I am like, 5 minutes late, and I'm very sorry. There's a reason I'm 5 minutes late. Typically, I am like sitting here waiting with bated breath, like, is it time to go live? Is it time to go? I love going live with you guys. It's fun. It's great, good times for me. There are a few of the tanks. If you've ever been in the store and you're familiar with it, our big tall towers of tanks, and they're all like next to each other and blah blah blah. Anyway, so occasionally, like one of those sets, they're like 75 gallons split into three. And there's 3 tiers of them. They're over a long period of time. We've had these almost 10 years now, I guess. But over a period of time, like sometimes things happen to those, and we have to pull them out and replace them. So it was time to just get another round. We like to have a few of those on hand in case of emergencies or accidents and blah blah blah. We can just quickly replace one of those tanks should we need to. Anyway, we got a big old pallet of those, right? And they are like 7, almost 8 foot tall on one pallet. And so they bring this in, right? And it won't fit through our back garage door. It would have fit through our front garage door, and I should have had them just bring it in through there. Didn't realize it was this tall. Anyway, so we have to take those apart and take them down. And when we were sliding them off the top, I just messed up my knuckles. I don't know if you can see the scratches there. But that is why I was late. I had to take care of that. And yeah, would have had plenty of time to just, pop those tanks off, get them all into the warehouse, come over here and be ready to go live with you guys. But I messed up my hands, and yeah, that's why I'm late. I'm fine. So everything's okay, and we're good. We're good. But welcome. I'm glad you guys have decided to join us. All few of you that are here at the beginning of the stream. And while we wait for more people to come in, whether you're watching this live or not, because this will be posted to the main page so you can check it out. But whether you're watching live or not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. And there's that little bell notification over there as well. If you hit that, that's going to give you notifications every time we go live like this, or every time we post new content, which I should be posting new content, but I have been so bogged down. My duties have been added to. I'm now the runner for the fish, like when we need to go to the airport to pick up fish or corals, or if I need to make a run up to northern Indiana, because sometimes we meet these guys halfway. Well, not halfway, but we have a meeting point between them and Chicago, and we meet them up there and grab some corals sometimes. Anyway, I'm the guy that's going to run up and do those now. It's going to make for some great content here in the near future, actually. So that's nice, but I just haven't had time to actually finish any of the videos that I've been doing. So those are coming soon. Nothing too much new at the shop currently. We are still running those Black Friday deals. We're going to be running them all the way through Christmas. You can check out we did a live about those deals. If you want to go check that out a few videos ago. And they're also posted to our Facebook page if you wanted to check that out as well. So we do have, and I need to, no, I already have the banner going anyway. So we do have this going on right now, live Q&A. So if you do have any questions about aquarium keeping or the Reef Aquarium shop in general, or things of that nature, drop it in the comments. I would love to have a discussion with you guys. And yeah. What's going on, Audrey? Jumping in on the comments now. Hey, welcome everybody. So yeah, if you do have any questions, I think I didn't really set a specific topic for this one, honestly, because I've been real busy and haven't had time to plan these out as I usually do. Still on the to-do list is I do want to start making these almost interview style, where I'm going to have a guest speaker, or not a speaker, but a guest come on and interview them, someone related to the hobby in some way. And I've even thought about reaching out to a few like local hobbyists and just talking to you and getting your thoughts on the hobby. Whether you're fresh in it or have been in it for quite a while. So if that's something you're interested in, shoot our Facebook page a message and we'll chat. So that would be pretty neat. Let me know. And you don't have to be local either. If you're watching this and you're like, hey, I'm involved in the industry, or I've been keeping fish for a long time and whatnot, just shoot me a message. We'll talk, see what's going on. I'd love to just start discussing the hobby with other people and getting their thoughts, their ideas. That's how I basically learned everything I did, was just getting everyone's methods and talking to people about what they've learned, and learning through them through osmosis. I guess, isn't that how it always goes? But yeah, so I would love to start taking these open Q&As and still treating them like open Q&As. But these Monday Q&As would, I think, be pretty jazzed up if I were able to get that going. But that is still on the docket, and something that I want to do in the very near future, but probably won't happen until at least January. So look forward to some guest speakers starting in the new year. That's going to be fun. Very excited about that. I do have a few people lined up, but yeah, just connecting schedules and making it all happen at the right time. Speaking of learning in the hobby, growing in the hobby, I also wanted to bring in, as some of these guest speakers, some of our employees, and just talk about what knowledge and skill set that they are good at specifically. Not all of us at the Reef are experts in everything. That would be very difficult, and our heads would have to be huge to shove in all that information. But some of us are better at saltwater or freshwater, or we niche down even further than that, like saltwater fish or corals. Some people are more versed in nano tanks over keeping larger tanks. Some of our employees are more versed in plants than they are fish, or vice versa, or cichlids, community. There's a lot of different things that we all specialize in, which makes our knowledge base vast. It's awesome, because if someone comes in and asks me a question that I don't know the answer to, I can always just pop over to someone that I know does have the answer. And yeah, we get our information that way through others, and yeah, so it's cool. But I guess I can go ahead and kind of start that with myself. People ask me all the time how I got into the hobby, and it was my parents. I'd been asking for a fish tank for a little while. I was 12, and my parents found one on. I don't know. I don't think it wouldn't have been online at the time. They probably just found it through a friend or something like that, or an ad in the paper, maybe. But we found what we thought was a 20-gallon. Years later, I figured out it was actually just a 15-gallon. It was the base of a 10-gallon, just a little taller. So it was like a 15 tall, I guess. Anyway, so I thought it was a 20-gallon, and I stocked this thing. If anyone can guess what the first fish that I put in this 15-gallon tank was, I will be surprised. But I put some ridiculous fish in here. But so we go, and they take me to this person's house. Like, we all go get it together, make sure it's exactly what I want. They wanted me involved in the decision, which is adorable. I was 12. I didn't know. I'd gone to the library, found a few books on fish keeping, and that's how it piqued my interest. Like, no one I knew really kept tanks or anything, but I was a big library nerd. I was there all the time. It was just down the street from my house. So I found some fish keeping books, and like the starters, best starter fish book was my jam. I was flipping through there, checking out all the pictures of like the coolie loaches and the platies and the guppies and angels, and there were some grammies in there, of course. Anyway, so that's how I got the bug in the first place. So we go to this house, and it's some lady whose garage is full of home interior decorations, which my mother, this is probably how the connection happened actually, which my mother was a salesperson for. So we go there. It looks great. I'm in love with it because I was going to see anything and be in love with it. And yeah, took it home, set it up according to the books, and yeah. First fish I put in there, and oh, excellent a question. I'll get to you in just one moment. The first fish that I stuck into this 15-gallon tank was an angelfish, which of course was eventually going to get way too big for this tank. The second fish I stuck in this tank was a bala shark, just one. You need to keep those in multiples of at least 3 or more. And eventually they get like 10, 12 inches and are also going to get way too big for that 15-gallon tank. But that's what I started with. And of course, eventually these fish died, and it was super sad. And I thought about getting rid of everything, and I was like, I just can't keep fish. And again, I'm 12. And the thing that kept me in the hobby, the fish, the organism, the live, it was a snail. A mystery snail that I absolutely loved kept me in this hobby, and kept me learning and interested in other, in actually still keeping fish, even though I had like just killed a bunch of fish right off the bat because I didn't actually do enough research as far as what I should be putting in here. I set it up actually pretty well, I think, based off of the instructions off the books, and got it set up pretty properly. It was just my fish and fish compatibility that I had a really big issue with up front when I was 12. But this little mystery snail would, every time I fed the tank, it would run up to the top of the tank, and like, here's the water's surface, right? And it would get up on the edge and stick its little mouth right up on the surface, and just like rah, 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 rah. And I would take fish flakes and shove it, place it right in his mouth, and he would just eat it right there. And I was thrilled with that. It was super fascinating. I mean, it's super fascinating for me as an adult if I can get a snail to come up to the edge and feed it like that. That's awesome. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got into the hobby, and I just kept learning from there. I didn't actually start doing pets or fish professionally until I moved to Indiana, which was almost 10 years ago. But I had still been keeping tanks. Had a 75-gallon that moved around with me for the longest time, and I would always have something in that. At one point in my life, I had 16 tanks running in my house at one time. That was nuts. I've only got so there's one in my house. I've got the micro pond behind me in the office. And if you want to see any more about what's going on behind me, if you're not familiar with that micro pond, we do have a series. If you're not watching this live, later I will post up a link above me. But go to our playlists and check out the micro pond series, and you can see me start to build that beta pond, which is now a micro koi pond. So check that out. But I've got that and 3 tanks that I'm running at my partner's business down the street. And we have axolotls in one who just had eggs, and those babies should be popping out super, super soon. We're pretty pumped about it. And yeah, so that's what I'm keeping now. But yeah, I didn't get into it professionally until about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, almost now. And then I've been working at the Reef for almost 12 years. I started at Petco. I was the aquatics manager over there. And then they changed some policies. I got mad about it and came over to the Reef, and I've been here ever since. And I literally started from the bottom, and I've held almost every position here, and it's been fantastic. That's going to bring me to welcome back. Thanks for joining, everybody. And if you are watching, we do like to treat this as an open Q&A. So if you do have any questions about aquarium keeping or the Reef Aquarium shop, go ahead and drop those in the comments and I will get to them momentarily. Actually, I am jumping in there right now. Let's check out Peyton. How should I go about getting rid of brown algae in my 55-gallon planted aquarium? It's growing on my plants and substrate. I've had this tank for about a year and recently added CO2 a few weeks ago. Okay, fantastic question. And this is like the scourge of everybody's tank. And it's the brown algae. It's also called cyanoalgae. It's a bacterial-based algae. So I do have a video that kind of helps, gives you the rundown. I call it the TLDR series, but it's just a 5-minute video that gives you a breakdown and treatment of cyanoalgae. I'm still going to go over it now, but definitely check out that video as well. You can find it on our main page. You can even go to the playlists. I have all the TLDR 5-minute video explanations in a playlist for you to check out. There's plenty more there. Cyano is one of them. But yeah, it sucks. It shows up in every tank. Most notably, it'll show up in new tanks. But you say you've had it running for about a year or so. It's still... it will still feed off of other things other than like consuming bacterias. But the best way I've found to get rid of that is first to add some flow. I'll add some flow to that section. And really it's a bacterial bloom. So what it's doing is it's out competing your beneficial bacterias. And if you can boost your beneficial bacterias by using like stability, seed, special blend, any sort of bacterial booster like that, you boost those back up and they're going to outcompete the cyanobacterias. So that's honestly the most effective way. It's kind of a, building those beneficial bacterias up to a point where they're going to overtake the cyanobacterias takes as long as it took for the cyano to build back up. So it might take a minute, but this is the most effective way to do it, is just pound out a couple water changes, hit it up with some bacterials like new tank style, and add some flow to the area. There's a few more things that you can do. We can get into like antibiotics and things like that. I highly recommend trying natural ways first before jumping into antibiotics. But if you'd like more information on that, check out that video that I was talking about, which again, if you're not watching this live, I will link that above probably sometime tomorrow so that you have a link to that. That one guy says fashionably late as usual. Swordtails I picked up the other day are doing awesome. Fantastic. I'm super glad to hear that. And it's been a minute since the greens kind of just showed up like that in the assortment. And I think that's what happened. Still, I don't think we were able to get the green swordtail specifically, but he's been looking for these swordtails for a minute to go in with his biotope tank. So we were holding out specifically for the greens. But yeah, I'm sure they look awesome, and you'll have to get some pictures or a video and post them up on our page or your Instagram, and I'll see them or something. Yeah, definitely want to see those. Audrey says, sounds the same as me, but when I was 8, referring back to my startup story, the how I got in the hobby, Chronicles of Dave. First time I went into an LFS, my dad took it over and fell in love with the hobby as well. Our first tank was Tetras, Danios, and Corys. Once you set up a tank, then kind of everyone around this tank is, if you're involved and happy with it, it's kind of infectious. It's just a cool hobby. You get to, it's not, is a dangerous statement. It's not as much of a commitment as like a dog, cat, or a bunch of other pets. Like absolutely, it's still weekly work. You got to feed your fish every day or every other day, and you still got to pay attention to this thing. But I think it's easier maintenance, maybe not less maintenance, but simpler maintenance, in my opinion, than than a lot of other animals that you could be keeping. But it's serene. It's kind of therapeutic working on your tank. I love scaping a tank. That's kind of one of my favorite parts of putting a tank together. And I'll sit there and I'll overthink everything, and I'll get the whole, rule of thirds and the golden ratios and blah, blah, blah. And I'll just be messing with stuff constantly before I ever fill it with water. But it's my favorite part because it can be meticulous if you want it to be anyway. You can just kind of toss things in there if you want, but yeah, I think that's one of my favorite parts of keeping a tank is just scaping it up front, both with hardscape and with plants, whether they be real or fake. I still prefer working with live plants. It's in my opinion, it's more fun. It is definitely more work, but it's another element added into your hobby. Just like anything else, you can be as simple or as complicated in this hobby as you want to be, and that's one of the things that makes it so great is there is a base level that you can stick to, and you don't have to go nuts. But if you're one of those people who like to tinker or like the next big thing, oh, this is a really cool gadget, I got to get that. There's always something new in the hobby that makes your life a lot easier or makes your tank cooler in some way. So there's always something you could be upgrading. Plus the joy of keeping a living animal. It's fun. and not only are you get a lot more out of it than just like the like the actual physicals of it, if that makes sense. You can actually have a connection to your tanks depending on your tanks and I guess who you are. But I was talking about last week when we were talking about my red devil. I told you I cried when that fish died, and they're our pets and we come to love them. And that's why the hobby is so great. Is it can be for a lot of people. Whatever kind of interest you have, you can apply that into the hobby. Pretty fun stuff. And again, welcome. If you're just joining us, we do like to treat this as an open Q&A. Otherwise, I will just continue to babble, which I'm fine with. But if you do have any questions about the aquarium hobby, keeping fish, both saltwater and freshwater, my specialty, I was talking about how we all have different specialties before, but my specialty is more broad freshwater, and so on and so forth. But here I go with that again. But I do have a decent saltwater knowledge base as well. And if I don't know the answer to your question, I'm just going to tell you, and I'll figure it out later and let you know next week. But again, I'm hoping to bring on our employees and other guest speakers in the very near future, starting hopefully in January, crossing fingers as long as everything connects and works out well. I will be starting those in January. If not, at the very latest, it'll be February. I'm going to start with guest speakers and kind of talk about the things that I'm not an expert on. and things like specific lighting requirements and keeping corals and coral propagation, things of that nature. These are all things that I want to talk about that I don't have a vast knowledge of. I have a general knowledge of, but if I'm going to sit here and talk to you guys about it, I want to have a much greater knowledge than I do of these things, if that makes sense. So that's where hopefully other people are going to come in and help me out with that. And I'll have some guest speakers on here. I'm pretty excited for that. Hope you are too. No new comments. Fantastic. I'm not going to go back into my other story there. What else has been going on here? I already talked about we're about to replace some of our tanks. We had one of the, I think it was a seam popped near the bottom of one of our tanks on those towers, and so we had to order a new one in. While we were ordering one, we figured we might as well just order a pallet of them in, so we have those on backlog just in case other things happen. But we've been bringing in so much kind of backlog stuff, kind of backstock into the warehouse. That way we can stay stocked and stay competitive in pricing, and all that. But it's just something we've been working on. Audrey says or asks about some water sprite from the Reef a few weeks ago. How long does it take for roots to grow from the plants, and do they have different leaves for immersion and submersion? Kind of depends on the conditions of the tank, but if you've got if you're doing any liquid ferts, then you're going to get a lot of quicker root development. But honestly, you should be seeing something within 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, even if it's just like little buds popping out, which, depending on your substrate and how fine it is, will be enough to kind of anchor it down in there. But yeah, usually it's about like 2 to 3 weeks, and you start seeing some decent white roots coming off the stems of that. And yes, it's going to be a tighter leaf on its immersed form, and a broader leaf in its submersed form. But yeah, and again, adding some supplements, and honestly, just doing broad range supplements, nothing in like a flourish, just the regular flourish, or like some sort of all-in-one. That's probably going to be most beneficial to it at that stage, if you're trying to get the root development going, than really anything else and trying to get anything specific. I do have, I was looking for more comments, but I was going to wait till near the end, but since I don't have any more comments coming in, I have some pretty cool news about the website. We've got yet another, I'm going to pop it up here. We've got another section of products that went up. Last week, I showed you, it was a surprise to me, as well as you, I'm sure, our Neptune systems. Maybe. There we go. Our Neptune system section, you can now purchase all of this at TheReefIndy.com. And now, as of earlier today, well, you can also do the gift certificates. Yes, those are good in the brick and mortar location. You can't use these online just yet. But we are now selling Bashi products. And as you can see here, this is like the full line. We have everything on here. And yeah, it's great, because if we don't have it in stock at our store, we're actually working with Bashi and doing drop shipping. So it will take a little longer to get to you if we are drop shipping it, but if we have it in stock currently, as soon as we get the order, we're pumping it out to you. And right now, I believe orders over $50 are eligible for free shipping. So that should include both Bashi and Neptune. So yeah, all awesome stuff. And we are about to, are they up yet? One moment. No, it doesn't. No, they're not up yet. But what is very exciting for us is we are about to, in addition to all the standard Bashi products that you see and love, we are about to add a Reef exclusive Bashi product, which is going to be a plug and play system. So basically, all these that you see here will come pre-plumbed with the pump and everything. Literally, all you will have to do is plug it in, and it's good to go. You don't have to worry about anything in addition to what you're doing, because a lot of people will kind of want to customize the flow rate and things of that nature on these. But we have gotten these plug and play systems. What brand are those pumps on there? Are they CJ? I'm not sure which pumps are on them, but they do put the recommended pump size on there. And again, makes it just a lot easier. You get it, plug it in, done. So very excited to have those. You can even just break this down into exactly what you're looking for. We've got all the products, of course, in one section if you're looking for that, but we can get the automatic top-offs, frag racks, reactors, skimmers, sumps, and the coral viewers all there on TheReefIndy.com. And while we're here, if you were unfamiliar, we have, well, there's the main page, and this is actually going to change pretty soon here. Now that we have our online store, we're gonna set this up a touch differently. But you can actually book a service through us online. Again, if you're unfamiliar, we do a complete aquarium service maintenance. Pretty much we can do anything that you've seen on Tanked, actually. So we've been on the show. In fact, if you've seen the Paul George episode, we are in that episode and still maintain that tank, even though Paul George isn't here. You can also figure out our location, hours, blah, 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 standard knowledge stuff. But what's really cool about the website, in addition to being able to request an appointment, is that you can check out our new in stock for all of our livestock. This is as big as these lists are, believe it or not, this is not our full stock. This is not even close to what our full stock is. This is updated weekly with just the new stock in for that week. So pretty cool stuff there. And again, that's updated every Friday. The time's not always exact, but it's usually done by 2 p.m. on Fridays. So if you're checking it out after 2 p.m. on Friday, it should be updated, and it'll let you know the last date it was updated to, so you know that you're looking at a current list. In addition to that, oh, is this new? Yeah, cool. We've got frequently asked questions on here, ways to contact us, and you can actually apply for a job right there off the website. And you don't need to wait until we're actually looking. We're always accepting these applications, and we always do look at them when they come in. And even if we aren't specifically looking for a new employment, we have been known to see a really nice resume and just give them a call. So yeah, if you're interested, apply anytime. It's right there on the website. Let's jump over here and see if we have any new questions. We don't. And honestly, since we don't, I'm going to, and I didn't actually have time to come up with a specific topic for this week. I'm going to go ahead and cut us a little shorter than usual. Usually I'm going about like 10-15 minutes longer than this, but yeah. It is what it is. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you want to catch us, hopefully we will be back on Thursday on Facebook to do our live videos. We had an issue where our freshwater tour was taken down off of Facebook due to violation. You're not allowed to sell animals on Facebook, and that's been happening for years. But businesses have always seemed to be able to skirt around that. However, when you look at the wording now, it does not exclude businesses in this, and we got one of our posts taken down. It didn't take down the saltwater post from just, the same day. Didn't take any of the other posts down. I don't know. So hopefully we will still be able to do these videos on Facebook. And if that's not the case, we're here on YouTube. So we'll just migrate over to YouTube for those live tours. But I do like keeping content on both platforms, and everyone's been used to us being on Facebook specifically. People ask, why don't you stream on both? And I could, but you're technically not supposed to, and I'm trying to keep this channel squeaky clean. So yes, I could live to both platforms. That way I have a backup, so to speak, but I'm not trying to do that. So yeah. But yeah, we'll be back on Thursday going live next door. I say next door, I'm in the warehouse in our propagations facilities. Right across the street is our shop. But I will be going live over there on Thursday. and then back here next week on Monday. Hopefully, crossing fingers, I was supposed to get this out last week, but hopefully this week I will have a chance to actually finish off a few videos I've been working on, so I can get some more standard non-live content out there. But yeah, again, thank you all for hanging out. I have someone jumping in. He says, Darren says, "What's going on, Dave?" Oh man, I missed it. Yeah, you kind of did. We are wrapping up here. But you can go ahead and drop your comment if you do have any questions, and I'll come back through tomorrow and answer those for you. But again, thanks to everyone for hanging out. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. That's going to let you know every time we go live and every time we post new content, which again should be coming soon, later this week. Yeah, thanks guys. Been a blast.